What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are ready for JPEL Day. We'll cover that in a second. We got Alan House. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning. We got Bill, Cindy, Julie. Good morning to Jason, Joe, Lauren, Marius, Miguel. Mike is rocking with us. Good morning, Tim. We got Win in the house. Win, I think you get the prize today. You get the first one in the chat. First one. So we'll give you the prize today for that one. All my people out on YouTube land. Good morning. We got Danielle. We got Daniel. Good morning to Santilla. She says good morning. Mixed markets. Okay. We can deal with that. We got Real Virtual Demand. Good morning to you. No Till. Good morning. We got Craig. We got Honey Roy. All my lurkers in that background. That's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. We got the SPY with a small little gap down, but more importantly than that, there is still the buy the dip. I was questioning. I don't know. We're going to start to lose NVIDIA. Did we start to drop on NVIDIA? The sentiment went from down, and again, it wasn't a 20% down day on NVIDIA, and it was this crazy comeback, but we were down considerably, a decent amount at open on NVIDIA. We did rally back. We stayed green. I think last I saw, at least we'll check out NVIDIA. But last I saw this morning, it was gapping up a little bit. So I'm not sure if that changed recently or not. But bullish engulfing candle. Interestingly enough, we did rock right into those VPOCs. So we still have 516.16 as some type of level of resistance. It's almost like we will need some kind of news factor to maybe bring us over that. And I just don't know when the next big news is going to come. Like 4 hours from now, 5 hours from now. Yeah, okay. Pretty well planned out, market. Pretty well planned out. But we'll see. We do got J-Pain coming. We got the rate decision. Again, my thought process, and I think pretty much widely what the market is expecting, is a big fat goose egg, a little 0% change, no rate changes. I do think what Jerome Powell says is going to be huge for the market. Does he come out more dovish? Does he come out more hawkish? We've seen some kind of bad CPI data, PPI data as well. So we do have inflation kicking in. As I said yesterday morning, really the last 3 months of the year historically is pretty flat in terms of inflation, and the first 3 months are actually usually the inflation does come back in. So the trend hasn't really changed in that area. So I don't know that he goes completely hawkish, completely bearish on everything yet. And if you guys realize what he's done, right? Think about what he's actually done. He's actually, just by promising, which blatantly he's come out and he's just blatantly said, yeah, we're probably going to be lowering rates. He's promised the entire market some candy. That's all he had to do. He didn't have to actually raise rates, do nothing. Inflation is still an issue, but he's bought himself about 6 months of time just by doing nothing but promising that he's going to give the whole market some candy. That's it. Okay. The big thing today is if he comes out and he goes, we're looking at maybe September. I think right now, somewhere June, July in that time frame is kind of where the market's pricing in and we get those rate cuts. So if he comes out, he starts kicking that down the road, that's where the market's going to get a little probably iffy, I would assume. But the bigger thing, even from Jerome Powell today, and I think the rate hike today is a nothing burger. I'd be shocked if it's anything besides it, but would be the dot plot. The dot plot can't really lie to us that much, and it essentially gives us the game plan for the Super Bowl, right? So that the dot plot is where all the voting Fed members are going to, again, just archaic, but you plot where you think the interest rates will be 12 months out from now. That actually does give us a better idea of where all the voting members are sitting. If and usually the chart looks something like this, where you see like all the different rates. So you see like 5, you'll see 8. This pen on Zoom has been trash lately. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't do the consistent draw, but whatever. You got the 2, you got the 1, so you got all the random percent points, and usually you just see all the dots plotted around from all the voting feds, and then you get some wild ones, 1 or 2 up here. You get one people who are like real dovish on the market, probably down there. You get some more hawkish people up there, but you could say, okay, mostly the dots are lined up here. You got some extremes on each direction, then that's fine. But you get an idea of where those are at. And then all you do is you take last time's dot plot, and instead of having all the dots there, if we see all the dots start moving up here, that's going to cause a big issue with that. If most of the feds have actually kind of been increasing their the main core has been kind of saying, okay, we're going up, or if we come in relatively flat, that would be I don't know if that would actually be good for the market either. 12 months out and most Fed thinks we're still in the same range. I don't know. I think that would be a little bit to the bearish side, but not obviously as bearish as if we just started cranking down lower. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. Let me clear this off. We'll get to the cues, but that's pretty much what we're looking for today. I don't think we're gonna get too much music, and I do think Jerome Powell says we're going to be a little bit data dependent. Expect Hokies, uh, said by Jeremy. Now I'm like not even responding. Oh, give me a second. Let's see what's happening here. Type a quick one in the chat if you can still hear me. I don't know if the computer slowed down. Okay. By Jeremy Professor. Okay, now it's working again. I just need some quick ones, and that gave the computer some motivation, I guess. We'll see. We'll see if it still wants to respond. For some reason, real slow today. I don't know why. We got the Qs. So Qs with a little bit of a gap up. Okay, we don't have a resistance right in front of us, which is good. Not too far away though. We didn't get the same bullish engulfing candle we got yesterday. We were still kind of hanging out at the lower range of the pretty much the zone we've been in for a while. So nothing too crazy, but we are still hanging in there. We did work ourselves up above that 20 EMA, so that's not bad. And we got to watch for resistance somewhere in 440.56. This is a retest gap. So bullish retest. So we probably will fade, I'm guessing. I don't think that much. We're still holding a little support. So 439.07, essentially where we're at now. And then if we do start breaking that, that's probably coming back for the full retest, 438.82. And then I think better would be probably like 438.24. To the higher side of things, the first level we're watching for on the Qs is 440.64. And then I think the next goal is 442.37 if we go absolutely crazy. So we do, I stretch goal today, but we do have Fed talking. And if he does come out ultra dovish and gives us any more candy, to the extent that we get tummy aches, we get probably 445.92. And that's the zone that we'd be kind of rocking into. So we'll see. We'll see, but there's nothing if we can get past that last little spot, 442.37, there's not a lot holding us back until that essentially almost 446 on the Qs. So let's see how crazy today wants to get. TLT. TLT will probably get crushed today if he does come out and kick the can down till September. So this will be completely on the Fed as far as how this thing closes. Again, we've come back, we've retested, we've hung out on TLT, got some kind of support around 93.08. Right past that takes us to 92.95. Bigger resistance on this one, so 93.66. So if he goes positive on this one, it does have a lot of room to move up higher for TLT today. So risk to reward, at least on TLT right now, is still better to the higher side than it is to the negative side of things. Let me see. Did I miss any of the tickers in the chat? I do see a couple on YouTube, but if you guys got tickers, let me know. Yeah, PDD reported earnings, and they kind of crushed it. We've seen this a lot. I think Baba just also crushed it not like 2 weeks ago. Baidu crushed it. So the earnings are good. That's not been the problem. The earnings have not actually been the problem with China. China has been the problem for China. So we'll see. But we are pretty big gap up, and we are into a major resistance. So I'd be concerned about that resistance. Uh, but this is a really good gap. Let's see what they did on earnings. They beat by 48% on earnings per share, so 79, almost roughly about 80 cents per share. And then they beat a surprise beat by $1.1 billion. Probably no rounding there. That's a good number. So just yeah, monster beat. Um, again, we'll have to watch some of these levels up here. The biggest one on this one is I would say 150.14. If we start to break that, we do have one more, which is 151.61. And after that, not a lot holding us back. So really good gap on PDD. Big resistance up there. It's kind of tough to go long, but if we do start to break out, I would even wait almost for that 151.61 to break. That would tell me that okay, we have a good shot of just continuing to move higher. I don't know what the short squeeze is on PDD, and I'm not even sure that FinViz's numbers will be accurate on PDD. Let's see, because technically it's an ADR. Short float is 1.8, so okay, they're not even giving us a high end of things, but so not a big short float. I think that worry from China probably reigns dominant, and uh, I I I don't really want to short that one, but that would be probably at least we're in the zone of people might want to take some profits. We had PayPal and AMD. PayPal still hovering around that 200. I actually wouldn't mind seeing some sideways chop on this. I think it would be healthy. We could get a pullback. I don't really want to see probably this 62.52 break. Not really. Win says I'd be curious how American stocks trade on the Shanghai. Um, I think they could just trade out markets. I'm pretty positive on that. Oh, how the US stocks trade on the Shanghai markets. Yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, they have their own markets, but I don't think they're like we can't trade. I understand what you're saying because technically we could just trade the Hong Kong market if we want to. It's a process to do it, but they technically could just trade the U.S. market. But yeah, for them to have theirs, the time zone number one is completely different, obviously. But yeah, I don't know because ADR is essentially a series of it's like almost options. So you don't actually own PDD, you don't actually own Baba or Baidu. But yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know how like if there's a PayPal version on a different market. That I don't know. That's a good question. All right, we got 62.52 would be the support for that's a big support for PayPal. So I do want it to stay above that. Otherwise, we're looking at a really good support. We got three VPOCs in a row, somewhere sitting right around. I'd give you a lower one, so that'd be 62.95. So somewhere in that range. Otherwise, we are just consolidating. We have the 200 right here. Again, I said I wouldn't mind a sideways chop. Let some of those moving averages catch up a bit. Then I think if we do break out from here, it's a much stronger move. We still are kind of just on the backs of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bullish days in a row. So um I even if we get some kind of a pullback, I wouldn't be too upset. But then we're looking at probably about $60.67 would be my target to the downside. where I'd much prefer just some kind of consolidation here, not give that much back, let those moving averages come up, and then I think the push becomes stronger. So we'll see. If you type in a ticker to TradingView, it will show you all the exchanges and stocks it's listed on. I don't know what's going on with my computer today. Oh yeah. Yep. Good call on that. Wow, my computer is crazy slow. I don't even know what to do about that one. All right. We'll see. We got AMD. AMD. Well, I do know what I can do about it. Hold on a second. Let me close up. I only have like 500,000 tabs open, so let me just close a couple. We'll go from there. That's a good idea. Um, Close the Instagram one. Follow me on Instagram, DJ Dan Trader. I'll close this one. I'll close this one. I'll close this one. All right. So far, we closed like 15. Oh, now 16. I think I can squeeze a couple more. Hold on one second. I'm going to close that one. Looks good. Close this one. I'm hoping this is the issue, but I just keep getting a spinny wheel. All right. Close a bunch. Close a bunch. WFC. Oh, hold on. We didn't look at AMD yet. WFC. I mean, AMD. Focus, DJ. Focus. It's Fed Day. Get your head in game. All right. We got nice little bounce off of, I believe that's the 50 EMA. So we're still hanging out in that range. Resistance for a bullish case, at least, would take us up to maybe it's my trading view. I'm going to try refreshing that too. Maybe it's that. But 192.24. And before we get to that resistance, so that would be a stretch goal. Otherwise, I'm looking for something in the 182.79, something in that zone. It should have support. Yesterday's VPOC, I'd put that one somewhere around 181.17. And the problem is, I mean, the good news for AMD, if we do want to bounce, we're just going to be heavily reliant on NVIDIA. But if we do want to bounce, this was a good wick yesterday that we've come into. And we've been holding this 176.57, decent support, kind of a retest. We had a bullish flag right there. So great retest on that one. It's already happened. The problem is if we start breaking yesterday's VPOC of 181.29, now we've already retested that, and we have to be forced to look at some of these lower levels. So we'll see on that. Let me refresh trading view. Let me see if that helps too. Maybe it's just a trading view issue. Maybe. But then again, that pen was a little slow too, so I think it's the computer. We'll see. All right. But AMD, I'd prefer probably to be a little bit more bullish than bearish, at least before 2 p.m. when the Fed starts to release their numbers. What was it WFC? We're at a tiny little support, nothing too crazy. We've also built in a huge resistance on this one. So I think it would take a lot for, first of all, we got to get through 57.28. See, now it doesn't even throw the lines on the chart. That's kind of. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe the cross. All right, now I got that line back. Okay. But yeah, that's a pretty big resistance that we're opening slightly under. So 57.17 would be the resistance. This is a retest into yesterday. This is also a 3-bar reversal as well. So technically, we have candle opening here, candle closing right in this zone. And then we have this too. So there's a little bit more pressure on WFC. IWM today too. If he does anything crazy with the rates, IWM, just like TLT, I think get a little bit more beat up. if he starts kicking that can down till September. So we have to see on that. So I would expect a little bit of retest, maybe not even into yesterday's candle, but rather probably into this green candle. Maybe even to like somewhere up there, that real resistance. So I probably want to be a little more patient, as we do have some support here and then another support not too far away. So I think if we get that little bit of a bounce first, and then that rollover wants to come in, I think at that point we could probably look for targets around 55.44, which would be a decent move, but it doesn't have huge range. And then we still have this 20 EMA creeping up, which also could give us a little tiny support for today. But that is a big move without any retest whatsoever. So we'll have to see that one. SMCI. For a swing trade on WFC, you have your clear, pretty big resistance up there. So getting your stop above that would make a lot of sense. SMCI, so pretty decent pullback. Again, we got all the way up to 1230. This is an interesting one. So we got all the way up to like 1230. Now you're sitting a few days later, about a week and a half later. You're opening up around $900. So that's a big move. I think there might be a certain time, and I don't want to. Man, does it ever go back to this range again? Probably, I guess, one point, unless we do some kind of stock split, and I mean, valuation still goes back, I guess. The AI story hasn't gone away. Nvidia did rally back yesterday, and we'll take a look at Nvidia next. But do we get back? I mean, that's about a 30% drop within a week and a half. So can this get a little oversold at this point? We are into some kind of support. We bounce back. True, and it's an easy argument for me to make, like, hey, it's down 30% in a week and a half. But if we're looking and being honest with ourselves, we also, on the same note, went up from 322 pretty much nonstop till $1,000. So it's in a weird spot. I think just people looking at this and going, hey, well, yeah, we're down like 30%. We might as well try to take a stab at it. If they like it, this is a good price. We've gone up a lot on this thing already, but the AI story is still there, just not as clear as it was before. I think there's some things that some of the excitement, I think, that's changed. I don't think really anything else has changed, but this is still a retest gap from yesterday on this gap down. So we haven't really hit that. I probably would, as long as we hold this support somewhere around $900, $899.51. You could probably get your stop underneath yesterday's lows, so 861. And then I think as soon as we start breaking down yesterday's VPOC, the only other spot to really save you is 888. So you're probably trying to get your stop up, lose less than an hour, but you do have a lot of room up to Tuesday's last VPOC of 997.72. So that would be my target. Maybe you want to bail a little bit early, 978.79. You still get good risk reward to a bullish direction if you're throwing your stops right underneath that. You got some puts on it? Yeah, I mean, if you got puts on it, that's fine. I don't disagree with that. I think we're looking at the same coin, and we can look at both sides of it. Just depends if you still have those people out there that are just real bullish on it. Anytime you're real bullish on a stock, it pulls back 30% in a week and a half. You're like, great. How strong is that sentiment? I mean, we've gone up 300%. So if you have puts on it, you're still fighting a very strong trend. The trend did break down a little bit. A lot of times, and I would say even this is the trend probably here. So this is what I would watch for. I would say something like this is our trends, right? Great gap down underneath it. A lot of times this is going to essentially act as your support for that trend. So we did break that down. We could come back up here and then do something like this. Now you got that little bit of head and shoulders, right? It all depends on how strong this move up is. And obviously, if we start breaking that new high, then the bulls will right back at it again, right? There is still that same bullish sentiment. And this was just a pullback. We don't have this head and shoulders. If the strength is actually leaving, then this move up, which I think today or tomorrow, I would be looking probably a little bit more bullish on SMCI, just even into a retest of this kind of neckline, this little support zone, and then see if this thing wants to break down from there. So it depends on how much time you have on the puts and a lot of things that will play into the factors. Um, but that's what I think this chart looks like. And we'll see. We'll see. But that is a steep move, undeniable. And but the other side of that coin is, well, it is down. It's down, and if that story does remain AI, everything, and everyone's bullish, not the worst spot. Micro strategy. It's gapping up $10 pre-market. Nothing crazy for a $1,400 stock. Target though. So this is still a retest. We kind of closed that gap from yesterday. So we kind of did already retest. We also got the bounce off the 20 moving average, so that's not bad. Otherwise, target for today, if we do want to continue just to fill this retest, 1534 would be targets if you want to take that up higher. So still got about $100 higher. That very possible for today. CMG, we had Chipotle announce a 50-1 stock split yesterday, somewhere around I think 6 p.m. my time Eastern, and the market kind of loving that one. So if you do own some Chipotle, that is a probably a fade. I would like. It's a tough one. You're gap into essentially all-time highs, but you're probably looking for a fade on this one. Some profit taking on this gap. Again, valuation hasn't changed. Stock split just means a little bit more affordable for at least price-wise to take action into the stock. So that's good, and it is a pretty massive stock split as well. So, but I think that's good news for it. But I think this probably ends up fading today. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I think we got time for like one more. Chipotle. Let's take a real quick look at Nvidia since we didn't actually pull that one up yet. Santilla says SMCI is overvalued. Yes and no. Yes and no. I can make the same case for AMD, Nvidia. So based on current earnings, yes. Based on future PE, it gets a little tricky. As long as those numbers, which is not an easy task, but if they keep bringing in the multiples that they are, then the multiples can easily catch up to valuation. That's I think what makes this a little bit different than the .com bubble. Nvidia, nice little gap up there. We got almost resistance right into 905.92. After we break that, I got one more little target on this one, which would be 919. And otherwise, you could have a really good day on Nvidia. Big support on this one, probably about 887.31. Other than that, that was the morning bell. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Everybody out there in YouTube land, be safe during Jerome Powell Day. You want to mark yourself safe and then post that thing on Facebook. That'd be great. I survive. Maybe get a T-shirt. I survived Jerome Powell Day. Otherwise, I'll catch all you guys later. Take it easy.